the main thing is we got 2 points out of it. I don't think we was at our best. I thought Bradford were quite spirited. I think last week's game against Wigan, which was a tough one, probably took a bit out of us, but we're, as I say, really pleased with the win.
Of course, you've got to mention some of the boys who were rested on the sidelines today. You know, you'll have missed those and the cohesion that they bring to the side as well, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. You know, they're quality players. Joe Monaghan and Chris Hill, and yeah, you know, I thought we was, you know, professional without being fantastic, but wins is the same. We got a tough one on Friday against the champs.
I thought our last 15 minutes of the first half was pretty good. Before that, I thought it was we weren't quite at our very, very best, but I thought Bradford defended really well. We defended pretty well for most of that match, so yeah, I'm quite pleased. It wasn't the most intensive of games, but at the same time, it was, you know, two teams who were very determined and worked hard, and you know, that showed by Bradford scoring a couple of late tries, and they didn't throw the towel in, and you know, we worked pretty hard after what was, you know, a pretty tough week in terms of games, but yeah, we were okay.
A lot to work on. I think even our first 40, our first 25 in particular weren't real good, and we tried to score too many points probably early in that game, and they defended well. You know, you got to give credit to Bradford. At times they defended really well. So last 15 minutes, I think we ramped it up a little bit in intensity and got some points, which was good. But probably suffered a little bit through the intensity of last week's game and weren't up to where we wanted to be, but got the points, which is the main thing.
Is it a case of overplaying, do you think, at times? You know, with the Wolves coming here to Bradford, given their form, people perhaps expecting a big scoreline at the end of the day. Was it that you maybe at times were guilty of chasing that scoreboard?
We were guilty of probably underestimating, you know, a side which defends well when they're on, and you know, we expected a tough game. There's no doubt about that, and probably the first set that we had when we almost scored didn't help us in particular as well, because we tried to throw it around and score on every set, and you need to build pressure, and that's what we did last week, and hopefully we'll learn from that this week going forward to another big game on Friday night.
And we know about the players you had on the sideline, some of them rested, some of them injured, but how impressed were you by some of the more senior members of the team, shall we say, who really stood up and led by example today out there?
Oh yeah, I just want to clarify that. All the boys that didn't play today had bumps and bruises. Certainly, Richard Myler won't play next week, but aside from that, you know, each of the others had genuine concerns over their injuries. So, you know, it was the right thing for them not to play today, but it did allow some other boys a chance to get in there and get some game time. And Reece Williams and Tyrone McCarthy, and we had Chris Bridge return from injury, so that was terrific today that we were able to get some minutes and game time for those boys.
You know, we're quite fortunate at the minute. We've got quite a healthy squad, so it was a bruising affair, but yeah, thankfully we come through this unscathed, and yeah, it's a short turnaround again. We got, as I mentioned, Leeds on Friday, but it's at home, so that'll be a good advantage.
And Bradford, to the credit, you know, they could have kind of packed the bags at half time the way you were playing, but they hung on in there and give you a real test in that second half.
They did, yeah, they were very spirited, and they scored a couple of good tries, and I think, well, they outscored us in that second half, so yeah, well done to Bradford, and you know, they're in a rebuilding phase, and they need to keep plugging away. I'm sure it'll turn around for them.
You know, Warrington started well and got 3 repeat sets on us, so we defended really well early on, and I think for the game we've not done bad. Probably a little bit in the ruck area that we need to improve, but there were a contrast for rucks as well. I think, you know, I'm not blaming this. This is not the reason we lost the game, but yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating when you're off the TV and things get allowed and then you don't get the same thing. But we kept going in the defence. We just were going to struggle in attack, and we knew we would.
What do you say to the team at full time? Because you know, you've been doing it tough lately. Is it a case of, you know, showing the fans and you know, proving to people what you can do this back end of this season? Oh
yeah, without doubt. And you know, we're working hard. I've said we've taken a big step forward there today from where last week, and I talked about how a few people have been dishonest. We weren't today. We worked hard. We worked twice as hard to try and keep in that game, and we did whatever we could, and we had to mix it at times. But we just got to keep going, because we're not far away. We're not far away, and the personnel who hopefully will be back next week will be better. But if we lose 5-6 players of the quality we've lost, then we really struggle.